Sarah, Budget Girl here. Thank you for tuning in to another video. Today we are going through my March 2022 budget and also doing a little net worth update. Now March was a really high spend month. I got a new puppy, Stella, who is the new light of our life. Maggie and Rory are both fine and wonderful, and Maggie and Stella were instant best buddies and love each other so much. So that was kind of expensive. We did buy from a really fantastic breeder, and it was mostly because we wanted someone who was Maggie's size and of the same breed so that they could be little playmates, and that was a little more expensive. She actually cost $1,800 total, which is more than I ever thought I would spend on a dog, and is actually more than I've spent on cars previously. I've bought cars for less than that. I also bought another camper. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with this yet, but I wanted it on an auction, went and got it from North Texas. And I don't know if I'm going to flip this or turn it into another Airbnb. There are some space constraints, but I will keep you in the loop when that comes along. But all in all, that cost about $8,500. And then finally, I went on a bit of a work/life vacation to a really cool dome community in Texas with Jacob, and we shot some videos. So that was a pretty significant cost, and I was able to file that under business expenses because we filmed every day. So with those out of the way, let's see how my budget went in March. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like people being transparent about their personal finances, because you know what? I think it lifts all boats. For my day job, I made $3,202.72. I work at Texas A&M as a communications coordinator. I'm currently on my lunch break. It's a great job. I have no complaints. And for Budget Girl, I made $2,429.75. It was a bit of a low month, but that's okay. And then Jacob paid me $700 for his half of our rent and everything like that. I own the home, but he pays rent. I have another video on that you can check out below, and also an article. And then I made $1,250 from my other rental on the other side of my duplex. So my total income for March was $7,582.42, which is great. That's amazing. All right, so my mortgage is $1,600. It's entirely paid for by my renters, but that still comes out of my bank account, so it's in my budget. Also paid $135 car insurance, $50 phone, $120 gas, $160 electrical. I spent $350 on groceries and household stuff, and $1,251 in personal, and $1,000 of that is Stella. Jacob spent more on Maggie when we first got her, and we just decided it was a fair split for me to pay just a little bit more for Stella. She is kind of my dog. I love her so much. But yeah, that was the main cost there. Otherwise, I just spent $250 on personal for general ridiculous. Some of this is like pet toys and some tools and mailing people stuff, etc. All right, next I spent $300 eating out. Some of that was during traveling, and then $52 on clothing. And that was for Target. I ordered a workout wear set and some pajamas, and I actually returned the workout wear set, so that's probably somewhere or in next month's budget. I spent $20 on Hulu, $10 on Kindle Unlimited, and $272 on miscellaneous. So let's go over there. $22 on Cairo, $150 for a pet sitter for Stella because we went on that Udoscape trip and we couldn't board her with Maggie. She's too young. Spent $76 on a vet visit for her to get her second round of shots and medications. She got her first while she was at the breeder. And then $23 on pet food and pads and stuff. And then this was all gas. And so that is a total of $4,340.98 on just like life expenses. Next, I put $500 a month towards my future real estate investment fund, and I put $500 a month to my Roth IRA, and then $200 towards just a regular brokerage account. So total spend was $5,540.98. Bit of a high month, but remember, $1,000 of that is the dog. All right, so let's go to my Budget Girl income. So for YouTube, everything was down a little bit this month. I had a lot of stuff I was doing. So I made $458.28 from YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. And then $25 from Amazon Associates, $84 from my website, budgetgirl.com. You should go check it out. It helps me a lot. And I spend a lot of time working on that for very little money. I got $192.50 for being part of a summit that Flea Market Flipper did. I love them. And then I made $446 and $137 off of Etsy. Speaking of Etsy, this budget right here, if you like it, you can go buy it on my Etsy. You can also buy my net worth tracker. They give you both a micro and a macro overview of your finances. Over 3,000 sales of these suckers. People love them. I gave away thousands before I had them on Etsy. Try it out. It'll change your freaking life. Next, I made $1,000 off of a integrated video that I did in January, and then $84 off of an affiliate payment. Now, my Budget Girl expenses. So total was just under $2,500 of Budget Girl income, but I have to pay things out for that. So internet, Canva Pro, Flowdesk, and then I have a person who does my newsletter. I have a VA who does some of the website work for me, and I have a web person who keeps my website up and running all the time. And then I also have some web related subscription costs. So DigitalOcean, Cloudflare, and G Suite all cost money to keep that up. Once again, a lot of money out, little money in for the website, but I think it's a really great resource and I think it's worth it. So hopefully one day I'll make money on that. It's the passion project. Next, I spent $200 on a masterclass to learn how to potentially do YouTube better. And I really hope that I get some stuff out of that, because that would be great for me to learn how to do this just a little bit better. I've been here a long time. Growth is kind of stagnated, and that's okay. But if I could figure out how to do it better using less of my personal time, I think it'll be more sustainable and hopefully provide better content to you all. So doing that. And I also spent $532.47 on the second payment for our Udoscape vacation. So that is the dome rental that I mentioned, and there's a video upcoming on that. Very interesting. I have some interest in potentially owning a geodesic dome as a rental one day. So it was very cool to go stay in one and see. And then $13 for Insider. All right, and then I save $500 a month for my quarterly estimated taxes for Budget Girl. So my total expenses for Budget Girl were $2,013, meaning I made $416.63 this month. That's okay. It was a high expense month. Next, BG Properties is just that. Made $140 off of it, but I have some more expenses in April, so that'll go away. And then let's do Airbnb. So this is the fourth month we've been up, third total month, and I made $919.88 off of people staying. I had 6 stays across the month of March, and then unfortunately I had some expenses. So lot rent is $475, that's fine. And then I bought some extra shower curtain liners, and I had cleanings for $200. So the people pay, it was $40, now it's $45, because that's actually what my cleaner charges. So that doesn't really come out of what I get paid. So this person, for instance, $103.79. That was a one night stay, but 45 of that is going to cleaning. So I made $55. All right. Trying to get a little higher on the cost. It is warming up a little bit. It's becoming less off season. So we will get there. And everyone pays different rates depending on when they book. So yeah, paid $300 in cleaning fees out of $900 in bookings. So really only $600 of that I got, which makes sense because my bookings are usually like $70 to $110. A lot of that, they book at like a $99 rate, but then I'll offer an additional day at like a 50% discount to get them to stay longer, and they feel like they're getting a deal. And so often that'll bring down the nightly rate to essentially $75. So it seems a little lower, and it is, but that's fine. I figure if they're already in there, might as well give them a discount on a second night. If you're booking, don't do that. Book for as many nights as you need. I can't always offer that depending on how many days I have available. I try. I want to be a cool, good Airbnb host. Next, I bought some individual creamer cups and then spent some money on some stuff to make curtains. So right now I have these paper curtains that you've probably seen in some of the videos. They're like cut to size, but they're starting to get a little worn. I tried to order custom pull down curtains, but it was very hard to find ones that were narrow enough to fit within the windows. And when I did, they didn't have any black or gray curtains, and they didn't have any in a color that would work. So we tried being on the back order list for a little while, and finally they called me and they're just like, no. So I'm making curtains, which I was willing to pay a lot of money to avoid, but I'm doing it. So I got the stuff to make curtains. I've made one. I still need to make 3 more. I don't like sewing. I don't. Now, if all of that had happened, but not the lock replacement, I would have been net positive for the month, or very, very close. So I spent $410 getting somebody to replace the old Bargman lock on the camper that was original to it. We'd taken this off previously, cleaned it, tried to get it all working, but what happened was when it would get too cold, the lock wouldn't really engage, the little ball bearings inside would fall down. A lot of the research I did online on these locks, they were never that great. So I ordered a custom retrofitted lock from Canada. So essentially a new model lock and a plate to cover the area where the old lock was, since it's really long. And I got a professional to install that because they had to cut into sections of the door. And I just was not confident in doing that. So that was $410. But now we have a modern lock, and it's just, I know it's always going to work. So totally worth the money on that. Probably should have done it beforehand, but we thought that we could get the old lock to work, and it was really cool. It's a cool lock. I might be able to sell it for some money online. They sometimes go for like $400, even though they're not a great lock. People want to like fix them up and use them again. So technically the one I have works. It's just no longer on the camper. So I have it. We shall see if I have the energy to list it on eBay. I should. That's a lot of money. I should do that. Okay. And then finally, the new camper costs. So anyway, minus $434 for the Wagon this month, mostly due to the lock replacement. Finally, the new camper. So this cost $7,351 off of bid site, and I also had to pay the bid site $450 for the pleasure of purchasing off of it. And we did trip gas, we rented an enterprise truck, and also had to get some things like an adapter, ball jacks, chocks, lock, etc. So right now I am in this camper for $8,413.44. Will I make it back? We shall see. It's a really cute camper. I'm just not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it yet. I would like to make it an Airbnb, but there are issues. You'll see in an upcoming video what those are. So coming down, I actually spent more than I made this month. So my total income was $75.82 minus $55.40 for my main expenses, $2,013 for budget roll expenses, and $434 for Wagon expenses, equals negative $405 from my take home as my take home pay. So I pulled the $405 from my real estate investment savings, stuck it in, and now we're only negative $5, which I'm just gonna let ride. Yeah, so a little under for the month, but that's okay, because let's switch to my net worth tracker and see if potentially the bird's eye view of my finances looks a little different than the micro version. All right, so I've got about $11,000 across my checking and my duplex checking account. The duplex checking is a little higher because that's where all of my Wagon money's going, the deposits from Airbnb, and I just haven't transferred it back out yet. So that money should be in the other account. And then I've got basically the same amount in my emergency fund, duplex emergency fund, and short-term savings accounts, totaling to $24,000. And then in my sinking funds, you can see my real estate investment account dropped from $18,700 to $10,900. So that's the camper and the overage. And then I've got $3,000 in my YouTube savings and $178 in car insurance savings. So $14K in sinking funds, $38,000 in total savings, and just under $50,000 in total cash and savings. And this is a little lower than it was last month, and that's fine. We'll get it back in a second. All right, next up, my investments. So I've got $18,000 in Teachers Retirement System account, $9,000 in an old IRA in Betterment, $2,500 in another old IRA, and then $18,713 in the Roth IRA that I actually fund, which is at Vanguard, and I invest in VT stacks. So that's up a little bit from last month. Last month we had some investment lows, and they seem to be catching back up. Next, I have $2,000 in my M1 Finance account, $300 in Robinhoods and Acorns. I don't really do anything with those, but they're there. So a total investment of $51,631 and a total liquid assets, so cash, savings, and investments of $101,397, which is once again a little low from last month, but that's fine. My duplex is worth about $300,000, car's worth about $5,000, the Wagon is worth about $20,000, and now I have a new thing in here. My new camper is worth about $8,000, and that's about what I could sell it for. Notice I just said that I have about $8,500 in the camper. I think I could sell it for $8,000 right now, pretty easily. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. I need to fix it up a little bit before I could sell it for more. So I'm at $333,000 in property assets, and my only debt is my mortgage, and I've got $224,219 on my mortgage, which is down about $500 from last month. I also was finally able to make the additional payment in here this month, so that'll be reflective next month. When I refinanced, it skipped a month and that got absorbed into the loan, so I'm paying that off because money came in that month. So my total net worth is $210,178, which is great. Last month it was $203, so I am up about $6,000 for the month, even though I was down a little bit for my actual month expenses. Things in my investments grew, my savings grew. Overall, we're doing okay. And this is a big mistake I made when I was first budgeting. I would get so down on myself when everything didn't go exactly as planned over the month. And I wish I had been tracking my net worth sooner so that I could see that, you know, all hope is not lost. We're still making good money moves going forward month over month. So if you aren't tracking your net worth, you don't have to use this sheet, but you could. But I highly recommend checking your net worth. So that was my March 22. How did you do in your March 22? Did you have any big expenses or wins or fails? I would love to hear about them and cheer you on in the comment section down below. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, why the heck not? You see how transparent I am? Don't you want to be nosy in people's money? I do. So I like to follow channels like this, and maybe you do too. So don't forget to subscribe and also like this video. I will see you next time, and have a good day.